Hello, everybody. It is me. Don't worry, we won't knock the microphone over today during stream because I already knocked it over during setup. So we should have hit our quota for the day. Delta Valerian is here. Hello, Blur is here. Blur, how are you today? I know you were having a rough day yesterday. I hope today's looking a little brighter. Due to brain fries, my brain is still recalibrating. It will take 7 to 10 business years to load. Please stand by. Oh, I feel that in my soul. I feel that in my soul. Valerian, how are you? Pie also here. Pie with the Piedrations getting us kicked off already. Cheers. Doing good. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Oh, we a couple of soul fries. Heck yeah. We're on that soul fry plane, just frying together. Doing a lot better today. Things have calmed down. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Ooh, thank you for the posture check, Pie. Let's sit up good and proper. I'm glad to hear things are going a bit better today, Blur. I know this isn't the kind of situation that's gonna get solved overnight, but hopefully things will get to a point where everybody is able to support each other and be kind, at least, if not happy, about the choices being made. I'm being a little vague because I don't want to share Blur's personal stuff, but Blur, feel free to say as much as you would like in the chat. Blur's there too, and probably a few others. It's like Soul Sister Brother. We just get a fry box and collect them into the box for safekeeping. It's like de Clurb. In de Clurb, we all fam. In the fry box, we all soul fries. Oh my goodness. It's been quite an interesting morning. I had to track some things down this morning, but I hope that I've gotten everything organized. We are trying to get our taxes finished, so just getting the last few things sorted out with our tax lady, who is super amazing, takes really good care of us every year. So we've been setting up a time that we can get things wrapped up with her, and I think she just needs a couple more things from Ghost Pepper when he gets home today. So hopefully we can get that all sorted out. What did you say? My Wi-Fi crapped out? I said, what did I say? My brain has just like, everything is evaporated. I said I hope today is a little bit brighter. And also that everybody can, if not be happy about the decisions made, at least be kind and friendly about it. Because I know this isn't the kind of situation that will just resolve overnight, but hopefully everyone involved can get to a point where they're happy, at least, or supportive of each other, and the decisions being made. So yeah, we've got that. We've got an election here in Canada on Monday, so that's also going to be interesting. Apparently there was a record high voter turnout for the early days of voting, which is good news. Ghost and I weren't able to do the early days because, of course, we were celebrating his birthday this past weekend, so we will be voting on Monday, which is election day. So that's sure to be very interesting. Canada will be choosing a new prime minister on Monday. For those that don't really know how the parliamentary system works, you basically you vote for your local representative, so you vote for either the person or the party that you think will best represent you locally, and whichever party wins the most seats in the parliament, their leader will become the prime minister. Flanny's here! You can probably explain this way better than me. Just reminding you of your legal obligation to crash out at the start of stream. Oh, we're building up to it, Flanny. There's gonna be some real hardcore love here in a few minutes. Just An absolute outpouring of unbelievable radical support. Also, Flanny, how you doing? We were just talking about the election, which I know you are working for this time around. Sorry if I sound a little brain dead. I'm still warming up. I haven't fully reached activation yet. So much stuff to do. I can imagine you must be insanely busy. All we have to do is walk to the church down the street and vote, which takes like 5 minutes. But Flanny's actually working the election, so I imagine you are organizing a lot and interacting with a lot of people. I'm exhausted just thinking about it. A central poll supervisor? I'm sure you're amazing at it. I'm sure you're... I don't know what all a central poll supervisor does, but I'm sure you're amazing at it. I couldn't do it. I would lose my fucking mind. I think I'll be in for at least a 15-hour day. On Monday, for sure. Yeah, I would imagine. Because I assume you have to be there before the polls open and after they close. I'm guessing. Do you have to actually stay for all the counting as well? Like, are you there until the result is announced? You should be there for an hour before and then to supervise the count. Well, good luck, Flanny. I hope it goes well. I do hope a lot of people turn out to vote. I really do. It would be nice to see a high number of people participating in this vote. It's a very important one. During the day, my big task is line management. I can see that. I could definitely see that. We're kind of lucky because being in a smaller place, and our polling place is literally like 2 streets down from here. It's just a little church on the corner, so we don't think it'll be too difficult. We already have record-breaking numbers. Yeah, that's what I was saying. For early voting, it turns out that there's been a record number of people, so hopefully it's going to be a record turnout for the voting on Monday as well. I'm in large. The snow. That says, Megan, I'm in charge of the largest polling location in my riding. Dang! Knowing the area you live in, I imagine it's pretty crazy busy. So, yeah. We're definitely not, I think there's probably a bigger place downtown for our area, so kind of live on one of the outlying parts of our town, which is good for stuff like this, because then you just go to the small place. It'll be fairly busy too because my riding has a cabinet minister. Ah, yes. Another big decision. I think that all of the, cause our incumbent is a conservative, but I've heard that according to, pre-polls and stuff, that apparently our liberal candidate is doing quite well, which is unheard of in our area. This is a very, very conservative area, so it's, goes to show you that people are paying attention and people have feelings this time around. But for those of you who are not in a parliamentary system, we basically you elect the party / representative that you think will suit your area best, or you can vote for the party that you want to see in charge, and whoever wins the most seats, their leader will become the new prime minister. Or if they do not gain enough seats to run, if they don't gain the majority in order to run the parliament, then the leader of the prevailing party, or the biggest party, will make a deal, a coalition with a smaller party that will allow them to have a majority between the two of them, and run the government that way, which is what our government was prior to the election being called. We had a coalition government. I believe it was the Liberals and the Bloc Québécois. Did you see about PP's riding? No, I didn't. Is he losing? I'm going to be very amused if he's not, if they think he's gonna lose. His seat is not considered a safe one. Oh, I think I remember you and Ghost Pepper were talking about this, that they have 91 candidates in that riding. That's insane. That is insane. That they got that many people involved. Again, for those of you in Americans, those of you Americans in chat who are like, wait, what happens if the leader of the party doesn't get their seat? I believe what happens is basically somebody else in the party will give up their seat so that the leader of the party can be in parliament. I believe that's how it works. But I believe it's also pretty, like, it's a pretty big deal if the leader of a party doesn't win in their own riding. Or they boot the leader, yeah. I'm kind of hoping they're gonna boot this particular leader anyway. I mean, obviously we won't get too deep into politics here. This is a chill zone. We don't talk about politics a lot. But I do think it's important to draw attention to the fact that Canada is having an election, and that our political system works quite a bit differently from in the US. So we only get 1 month to do campaigns, which I think is more than enough. They did one a couple years ago that was 2 months, and everybody hated it. It was greatly considered to be a mistake, and we've never done that again. Peter's here. Peter, hello. Good morning to Megan and literally nobody else. Peter, how you doing today? I don't see anyone who's not Carney surviving this election. I mean, I've had a couple of conversations with Ghost Pepper about Jagmeet Singh, and while I don't have as strong feelings about him as other people do, I definitely feel like he's kind of run the party into the ground. He kind of got handed a really strong party that had been built up. I can't think of his name now, but by the previous leader, and he's kind of not done anything with it. It's kind of just fallen apart. Jack Layton, that's who. Which makes me sad, because I feel like, you know, Jack Layton gave his all at the end of his life to see that party thrive, and it really hasn't since it lost him. So I do think it's probably time for a new NDP leader as well. But yeah, I do think it's important for us to just talk a little bit about, you know, what's happening in Canada and what the Canadian political system looks like, and it's gonna be very interesting to see what the results of this election are and how the situation with the US is handled afterward. I'm doing pretty good, Peter. What manner thing are we doing today? We are talking about electing, although we won't be electing today. We're going to be finishing the story that you guys suggested. Vinyl's here. Rokinka's got to get some gardening done before it gets too hot. Good luck, Vinyl. I hope it goes well. So today we're going to be finishing up the story that you guys suggested. Last time we ran one of these writing prompt streams. So I have written down all of the elements that you guys suggested, and we're going to finish implementing them into the second part of the story. We're just taking a brief hot minute here to talk about the fact that we do have an election here in Canada on Monday. Vinyl is here, but also not here. I hope so too, but from what happened yesterday, I don't think that's going to happen. I do have good news. I'm going to see my boyfriend and friends this Saturday and staying the weekend. I'm excited to see them, and plus I can get a break from the chaos. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Blur. It sounds like you could use being away from the stress. If Jack Layton hadn't passed, he could have totally been Prime Minister. I think so too. And it's tragic, because I think he would have been a very good Prime Minister. Everybody who's not from Canada is like, what is the NDP? What are you talking about? for me, I'm not like a member of any party, and I would never be a member of any party, but I think outside of the Green Party, the NDP, the New Democratic Party, is the party that aligns the most with sort of my values. They focus a lot on community, and they focus a lot on, not as much as the Green Party on environment, but they're kind of progressive, compared to the other parties, in my opinion. Opinions may vary. I think Jack Layton would have made a fabulous prime minister, if he hadn't passed, when he did, sadly. I honestly wouldn't have complained about having Jagmeet Singh as prime minister several years ago, but I do think, frankly, I think several of the parties, I hope the Conservative Party is going to elect a new leader after this election, because I feel like this election was basically, all the Conservatives had to do was show up and not be dumbasses because everyone was sick of the Liberals. And that isn't what they did. And that isn't what's happening. So I feel like maybe it's time for a new leader. I'm literally not allowed to have a political opinion at the moment. That's fair, Flanny. I'm a member of a party that I'm not allowed to express publicly because of my role. Fair. Yeah, we'll talk after. We'll have a chat. We'll get together and have tea and chat about all the things. I vote Megan and Vinyl as co-prime ministers. I appreciate that, Peter, but I do not want to be in charge of this country, because then I would have to talk to Trump, and I don't envy whoever the new prime minister is having to do that. Who's Jack Layton? Is he a goodie or a baddie? Jack Layton has sadly passed. I think he was a pretty good guy. I don't know a ton about Jack Layton because I feel like the end of his life was the beginning of my time in Canada. So I don't know a ton about him, but he was the leader of the NDP. I believe he kind of built the party. I don't know if he built it from the ground up, but he definitely turned it into what it became after he passed. And it is currently, the current leader of the NDP is Jagmeet Singh, who I've mentioned a couple times. But I don't know that he's done a super good job because the party has been struggling in recent years. It's been losing seats. I voted NDP even though my town will most likely continue to have a conservative MP. Yeah, we thought that our town would go conservative as well, but our Liberal candidate is apparently getting some momentum, so it's going to be interesting to see. Ed Broadbent was the founder of the party. There we go. I don't know. There's a point at which I start to know things about Canadian politics. It was in the Chrétien era, because he was prime minister when I moved here. So I know a little bit about the end of Chrétien as prime minister and the whole stuff with Paul Martin that happened after. Don't really know anything from before that because I was in America before that. So there is definitely a gap. There's definitely a gap in my knowledge. Tommy Douglas was the creator of the NDP. So I rely on more long-term Canadians to fill in those blanks for me. Me to Trump, they're a small child, the adults, they're small child, adults will handle things. There. Go in the corner with your blocks. That's how I feel too, honestly. But yeah, so I am not the best person to talk to about Canadian politics, but, you know, it's out there for you guys to know. We have an election on Monday. It's going to be very interesting. I personally hope that Mark Carney ends up being the one in charge because I think he's going to handle the situation that we're in the best. But I'm not in Mark Carney's riding, so technically he's not the person I am voting for or against. Okay, Vinyl, enjoy your gardening. I hope it goes well. I genuinely think I'd be great at being in politics, but my problem is I don't have patience for all the mechanics of it. and for other politicians. Like, if you've seen the UK Prime Minister's questions and the absolute shit show that happens to the House of Commons, I would be enraged. I don't, like, actively watch it, but I've seen enough footage to know what you're talking about, Peter. I wouldn't want to talk to Trump either. I would not want the responsibility. I wouldn't want the responsibility of running a country in the first place, but I wouldn't want the responsibility of running this country right now. I honestly and genuinely think that Justin Trudeau got out at exactly the right time. The Liberals were sick of him. They didn't really want him. Everyone was sick of him. Nobody really wanted him in charge anymore. But he doesn't have to deal with a second Trump presidency. Good on him. He can just fuck off and retire and watch somebody else deal with that on TV. Same, Flanny. I can barely run my own life. It's like, someone locally recently told me I should run for the city council, and I'm like, I don't want to be in charge of running this city. I don't want to make decisions about this city. I just want to get through the day. I just want to get through the day, get my work done, and have some time to relax in the evening. I don't want to make decisions about bypasses and bylaws. I don't want that kind of responsibility. I'm desperate to talk to Trump just so I can tell him to suck something he's not inclined to. Imagine being the one politician on earth who says, shut the fuck up and sit down. I feel you, Peter. Good news is I don't want to be in charge. Bad news is Dahmer does, and he's angry at all of you. Dahmer doesn't want to be in charge. Dahmer is in charge of a lot of things, but he definitely doesn't want to be, like, a political leader. Dahmer is a soldier. He is not a political leader. He does not want a crown on his head. He does not want a presidency. He just wants to do his job and go home. He's like me. He wants to do his job and go home at the end of the day and relax. He's okay with a certain kind of responsibility. He doesn't want to be in charge of people's lives. No, thank you. So yeah, let's go, hang on, the animation is going to very briefly, freeze here while I just open a couple of things. It should be back now. So let's take a look at, let's take a look at, hey, Writers Troop! Let's take a look at, yes, this is the kitchen! We just recently finished unlocking all the new kitchen spirits. So let's take a look at what you guys suggested. I didn't reopen the thread to, suggestions because I really want to fit this into a part 2. And I'm worried if I add more, it'll need a part 3. If it ends up needing a part 3, then I might reopen suggestions, but I'm really kind of hoping that it doesn't need a part 3. We are definitely doing sprints today. We're just reviewing the plan, because it's a crazy plan. I let my Twitch chat suggest a story for me to write, and it's full crazy. So... Hey, Shadow Legion! We shall be writing very shortly. Hang on. Do you want there to be a part 3 in your heart? I don't know, Peter. I'm not really in charge. I'm gonna start writing, and whatever comes out of my fingers will determine whether or not there's a part 3. Today is funny that you ask that, Shadow Legion, because today we're doing part 2 of a story that this Twitch chat decided on. They suggested things, and I'm turning them into a story. So we started with a French vampire walking into a tavern in a small town in the desert, where a robot with a flesh tongue is playing the piano in the background, and an old-timey boxing match is taking place, also in the background. Many strange figures gathered in this town/tavern for a drag race that is about to take place, including a bone golem who is 3 skeletons mashed together, but in centaur shape because one of them's a Hans. You know which one of you suggested the Hans. One is a creepy child, one is an octopus, and one is a man who is actually 3 sentient weasels in a trench coat and a fedora. Gonna lurk for about 20 minutes, then we're gonna raid. Have to raid and run because I need to go pick someone up. No worries! Raiders Troop will see you in 20 minutes. I hope you're very productive until then. They meet in the tavern to discuss the rules, and the robot with the flesh tongue informs them that there is a mysterious and highly sought-after prize, but he doesn't reveal what it is. So that was the first scene. We've already written that. Yeah, the haunts. We went with centaur-shaped, but it was because the haunts was suggested. We also haven't gotten to the flesh tongue yet. There is a robot named Fresh Made Coffee. He does have a flesh tongue, but we haven't seen it yet. Enjoy your lurk, Raiders Troop. So the second scene moved out into the desert. There were strange stone structures in the distance, and this is where the first part of the drag race took place. Most of the scene was devoted to describing outfits, and we had some drag names that were suggested by Bard Owl. We had Helena Bottom Harder, Antidepressant, and Bobbly Octopus. At the end of the scene, because that was all the further that we got, because that was already like 3,500 words. At the end of the scene, all of the drag queens in their outfits were to go to their cars so that they could begin the race part in the car race part of the race. So now we have the race. The queens racing in their race cars is going to happen. That's where we're going to start. And then there's going to be a fight after the winner is announced, during which a fluffy cheetah will nope out in the background. And Hot Dog Cop will arrive to break up the fight and restore the peace. We still don't know if he is a hot dog or if he's just wearing a hot dog suit. I don't think we'll ever know. And then Fresh Made Coffee will mark the winner at the end of the fight by licking them and revealing their flesh tongue. You guys suggested this story, so I hope you're enjoying it. And then the very last scene will take place in a bamboo forest. The winner will arrive to get his prize, and his prize is that butthole aliens that look like bears, dressed in drag, we were very specific about that, emerge from his butthole and kiss him with all 5 of his tongues. And at the end, they have celebratory pancakes. There might be another scene where the butthole aliens arrive. I haven't decided yet. Shadow Legion, I hope you enjoyed that description. This is not a regular project of mine. This is a special. We did a fundraiser last year to replace my computer because it died. And this was a special stream that was unlocked by the donators, where I would take as many as possible of the suggestions of my Twitch chat and turn them into a story. So that's what we're working through. That is what's happening. Haunts is for heroes. I feel like this is an audio series waiting to happen. I mean, Peter, if you want to make an audio series out of this, I would be honored. Disturbed, but honored. Gonna be making a list of what I need for the weekend so I don't forget anything. Then once it's done, I'll be working on some art. Heck yeah, Blur, good luck. Who is this fluffy cheetah? I hope nobody's drawing this. I feel like as Hot Dog Cop is based on RoboCop, he was a regular cop who got killed in the line of duty and was brought back to life as part man, part hot dog. I don't know that Hot Dog Cop's life story will be within the scope of this particular story, but, you know, I never know what's going to come out of my fingers until it actually does. So let's get a document open. Let's save it. Chat's story part 2. Now, I believe part 1 was pretty long. So part one was 3,279 words. So probably it's mostly going to depend on this first scene because I expect this first scene to be really long. If that scene ends up being like 3,000 words on its own, then we'll create a part 3. So we'll see how long this is. Joe, hello! You're just in time for us to write the potential life story of Hot Dog Cop. I don't know. This is everything Megan loves all brought into one world. None of this can be attributed to me. All of this was you guys. You guys did this. I'm just the vessel. Joe, how's it going? How's it going today? Let's also set up our timer. So what do we want to do? Who did we last hang out with? I think we hung out with our pancakes. We hung out with these ones. So I think we're up to the toaster. We haven't hung out with Toaster Boy. Joe's favorite. Toaster Boy. Oh, he drinks from his tail! What? Well, strong start. Does he do anything else? Oh, he just reads the book there. He just kind of sits over there. I like the way he reads the book too. I think that's super cute. Well, let's just start out with typing so that he can drink. Look at him. It's so cute. It's so cute. How can something be so cute? All right. It'd be hard to eat them. That's not why I said he was your favorite. I figured, you know, there was a whole toaster saga on your stream, so I figured. I just figured toasters were your favorite. Alright, I'm gonna put 3 sprints on there. I don't know if we will need the last one or if it will need to be 30 minutes, but we're definitely gonna be doing at least 2 30-minute sprints, and then after that we'll decide if we're gonna do a 30 or a 20 for the end, or if we even need it. I also need to open last week's, not last week, but you know, last time's story so that I have all of the names. So I believe we are all set up, so I'm gonna take a quick cheeky break in order to get ready for the first sprinty sprint. Peter, please don't eat a toaster. Oh, you know what? I forgot. Joe doesn't even like toast. He likes his toast raw. He probably doesn't even have a toaster. That explains so much about the toaster lore on Joe's stream. Joe, what you up to today? I've been lurking on your streams, but I haven't had much chance to say hi because there's been so much going on. there's so much that's been going on lately, but I have been lurking. I saw that you were having some good luck on pulls yesterday, I think, in Zenless Zone Zero. I don't know what you got, but it was good from what I don't know. I don't understand that game, but I heard that it was good. S tier. I assume that means good. I'm going to take a quick break. Let me just move that over a little bit because it was cut off a little bit on the screen. I'm going to take a quick break, and then we are going to get into our first sprint and see what crazy words come out of my brain based on what you guys suggested. I have returned. Thank you. All right. settled in and ready for the quickie clacking. I believe I have everything. Let me organize my task bar ever so slightly. Alright. 30 minutes of clicky clacking starts now. Why did my brain just forget this word? Formations. Did the clicks be ever in your clackies, Peter? Peter, did you say how you're doing today? Did I miss it? Cheers, Joe. A hydrate just for you. Fresh hot coffee. Caramel flavored. Sardonisms, how's it going? I missed yesterday's stream. My streak is all gone. No worries, Sardonisms. You'll start a new streak today. Sassy but alright. Upgrading the space in my office so there's foam tiles and photos and stuff everywhere. Nice! The writer's strip is here just in time for a sprint. Heck yeah! Writer's strip, I know you have to run. Good luck with your airport pickup. Thank you so much for the raid. We appreciate the heck out of you, and I hope you had a fabulously productive day. We'll see you soon. I think I caught a cold. No, Sardonisms. No, get some rest. A writer's strip, thank you. You're amazing. Hopefully we get to talk again soon. Zigzagging doesn't need to be hyphenated, apparently. Just think about the stuff that you use in a normal day, Blur. I tend to overpack. I have a tendency to overpack, though, so I feel you. I don't need cheese, Joe. I lactose. I have a funny story, though. Hang on. I don't normally do this. Ghost came home with a giant thing of brie yesterday. And I was like, why do you have cheese? Because if he had stopped at the store, he wouldn't have just come home with cheese. He would have brought other stuff. Turns out, his boss wanted them to fill out a survey. Like a worker satisfaction survey, and everyone who filled it out, he gave cheese. And not like cheap cheese, like good cheese. from Costco. So, Ghost just came home with a random wheel of brie yesterday. It was very interesting. Hey, the kids are asleep. How's it going? Yeah, it's like, it's a big one, too. It's like this big. I'd fill out anything for cheese. I feel like most people would have filled it out without the cheese, because it's for the improvement of their job. But hey, they got cheese. Ghost is never gonna say no to free cheese. Like, let's be honest. Free cheese. Yeah, he came home with free cheese. A big old wheel of it. Now that I know cheese is an option, I'll never fill out another form unless cheese is offered. Do let us know how that goes, Joe. Other comment. Where is my free cheese? I would offer you some if I could, Flareon, but I don't know how I'd get it to you. And also, Ghost might chop my hand off if I touch his cheese. Laurel, hello! How's it going? We haven't talked in ages. It probably has cheese stored in floof. Good call. Emergency cheese. I've been procrastinating for almost an hour and a half. What do you need to get done, Flareon? What are you avoiding? I'm good, thanks. How are you? I got to see a Sailor Moon play last night. What? That sounds amazing. I'm doing pretty good, Laurel. Are you having trouble picking what to work on, Flareon, or just enjoying the simple sense of being? The best way to stop procrastinating is to take a nap. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true, Joe. Whoops. It's not. Ooh, I went on autopilot there and changed the wrong setting. Just sitting here, brain fries mode. Sometimes you gotta just decompress. Sometimes you gotta just be and not really worry about any of the other things that gotta get done. No, Joe's a nap expert. I am not a nap expert, although I have mastered the art of the power nap. know just enough about racing to write this scene. I'm a master of the marathon nap, 6-hour nap or nothing. I am the master of the 15 to 20 minute nap because I don't have 6 hours for a nap. It was insane in the best way. The energy was wild, and it was a Japanese play, so they had a giant screen with subtitles. It was so different from what I'm used to in terms of musical theater, but it was so worth it. It sounds amazing. I would love to do something like that. They sang the original anime theme song at the end. That sounds amazing. My husband would never agree to see anything like that with me, but if something like that ever came to my town, I would hope I could find someone to see it with me. Alright, we're at 1,178 words. And just finished with the racing portion. There's still a whole fight that has to happen. Alright. So, that is 1,445 words at the end of the first sprint. It's looking more and more like we might need a part 3, but we'll see. We are just at the point where the fight is about to start, so it depends on how long the fisticuffs last. Oh my goodness. We've got to hydrate from Blur. We've got a save alert. I did just kind of stretch, but I will do another stretch when I get up to use the washroom. Hit that save button. Don't lose your work. Remember to save frequently. Save early, save often. Oh, wish I could be getting words down on lunch break at work. Laurel, I hope you have a smooth rest of your day. Is it something flammable? Peter, we love you. Suddenly, John Travolta and Greased Lightning out of nowhere. I did say I wasn't going to use any licensed properties. Some point I also got to crochet. Heck yeah. I've been working on a project. I think I saw most of what you guys said during the break. Who all came over on the raid? Did I say hey to everybody? Yes, Sardonisms is here. Okay. Peter's sassy but alright. Upgrading his office. Yes, okay. I got it all. I am currently working on a very interesting project because a while ago I found a pattern that I wanted to do. Flareon knows about this. I should actually send an update to Flareon because I haven't updated her in a while. I was trying to find... I found a pattern that I really liked and I wanted to do, but I didn't get a chance to buy it before the kit went off Amazon. And so I scoured the internet looking for it and tried to find it, and I can only find it on a Russian site, and I'm not going to give my credit card to some Russian site because I don't know if I can trust it. So I tried to find out if I could find the person on Instagram, or if their Instagram is even still active, which it doesn't look like it is. And I searched everywhere, Etsy, everywhere, to see if I could find a version of this pattern to buy, and I can't. I just have several pictures of... I have the original picture of the pattern posted by the artist, and I have several pictures of people having completed the pattern, but I can't find the pattern anywhere. So I am making the pattern. I am making a pattern for this octopus. I've accepted that it's not going to look exactly like the original because I just can't visually discern all of the details. Hang on, let me open a thing here, and I can show you guys. So I am making my first cross stitch pattern. It's based on another pattern. It's my version of this pattern. So this is the pattern that I'm trying to make. This is what it should look like when it's done. It's much more complicated than it looks on the surface, I have learned. And as I said, I have a couple of pictures of people having done the pattern. So this is a very large image. And this has, you can basically see stitch by stitch. But trying to discern which colors are which from this and this is shockingly difficult. Not impossible, but I don't know how accurate I've been. So Flareon has been helping me with this because we originally tried to do it in Photoshop and it didn't work. I couldn't quite get things to align. So now I've been doing it in Excel. You shouldn't give your credit card to the Russian bots. You should give ghosts. It connects to the same account, Peter. It would be a bad idea. It's picking out those colors that are close together, but definitely different. Yes, and I went back and looked at the pattern, and it lists that there are 28 colors and 17 blends, and some of the blends are very similar to each other. So I've accepted that this is basically my version of this pattern. It's not going to be as good as the original because I'll never be able to match the original, but it's going to be my version of it. And if we zoom in, this is, if anyone's like, what are these symbols? This is wingdings. This is wingdings. And so you can kind of see if I put them side by side, you can see that basically what I have done so far, the red lines mark the middle. So you can kind of see that what I've done so far is this portion here. I'm working on this lower portion. So you can see the handle of the teacup, and you can see that's one of the tentacles there. That's one of the tentacles there. And then the area where the one eye is going to go is right there. And then this is like the side of the head. And then that's the tentacle that's kind of on the side there. So this is what's happening. This is the update. You gotta art before you can art. Exactly. It's been very challenging and at times very frustrating, but I do think I'm going to be able to manage it. I haven't figured out how I'm going to map the back stitching or the French knots yet, and there's an inordinate amount of French knots on this thing. So, it's going to be very, very interesting. But so this is my personal project. This is a pattern for me. I'm making this for me, so it's going to be my custom version. And I gotta work for it. I gotta work for it. So this is the way zoomed out version, and you can see here is all of the colors. These are the blends, and these are the colors that I've identified so far. I haven't done black. I haven't done yellow. There's black and yellow in the eyes. And I haven't done any of the browns yet. So I have at least 4 more colors to add that I haven't added yet. But yeah, that's my current project. That's my personal art project that I'm working on at the moment. And Flareon was helping me figure that out, so I appreciate the heck out of it, Flareon. Thank you! I've spent many hours squinting at the pattern and changing my mind about what colors are which colors. I'm probably gonna have to switch over to Photoshop at some point when I do the French knots. But so far I'm really happy with how it's going. I will be able to get the back stitching done. Then it'll be the Wild West again. It's picking out those colors that are close together, but definitely different. Yes. And I have 3 different pictures to look at. Also, finding where the half stitches are is really challenging. This seems like a wizardry to me. It's a lot of just muttering to myself and doing math and changing my mind about things, but it's coming along. I can see how that would create problems. Yeah. Me and Ghost share a credit card and a bank account. Makes me think of that Facebook test I saw. How many colors can you see with your naked eyes? Yeah, well, and that's what I keep telling myself is if I can't actually discern it, does it matter if I can't actually tell the difference in the color, in the visual variation? If there's a blend that I can't see, does it actually matter if it's in the pattern because I won't be able to see it? And it's only gonna be about like this big by this big. So does it really need to have like 40 colors in it? Also, the original pattern this is only going to make sense to cross-stitchers. The original pattern is 11 CT, and I use 14 CT canvas. So it's going to be smaller. It's going to be smaller than the original. Baby blueprints. Exactly. I'm making the blueprints to guide me through the chill part, which will be the actual stitching. Megan, being that you are of a similar age to me, do you remember being in high school and Wingdings was banned at the end of 2001 because if you typed Q33NY, it came up with rather unfortunate images? I don't remember that specific thing happening, but I do remember Wingdings. They didn't know how to ban fonts, and people used to print it in massive font and print dozens of copies. Now I'm curious what that would look like. Wingdings. Okay. So all caps Q. 3. I think I see where this is going. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Ooh. Yeah. I can see why they banned that. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. That, I don't remember that being a thing in my school, but I can see why. I'm gathering all my blueprints, getting a bunch of sketches made up to attack. Once I whip out some commissions, I'll probably take a break and work on some more comic pages. I'm very excited about Flarion's comic because I am getting to help her do some edits on it, and it's very good so far, and I hope everyone else is as excited about it as me, because it's really good. I know almost nothing about Pokemon, but I'm really enjoying the comic. It depends. Sometimes it makes a huge difference, but sometimes you can get away with it. You're doing great. Oh, thank you, Flareon. I can also, since I'm making the pattern, if I need to adjust anything during the stitching stage, it'll be really easy to do that. But that was also why I didn't want to Google it, Sardonisms. There are some things we don't Google. Also, I've been staring at Wingdings for like days now, so it was very easy for me to realize what it comes up as. What was I saying? Oh, I decided to color code the pattern so that I can kind of see it in theory before I put it on the canvas, so that helps too. Forget exactly what it was. Yeah. I just Googled it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a memory from your past, Peter. It's you don't have to be sorry that that was a thing that happened at your school and you just happen to remember it. I'm guessing that maybe they knew how to block fonts in my school, or it's possible that that was never a thing because I grew up in central Pennsylvania. So for anyone who remembers 9/11, or who maybe doesn't remember 9/11, one of the planes crashed not far from where we lived, only a couple hours away, and many of the people that I went to school with had family in that area. It was we were only about 5 hours outside of New York. It was a very visceral thing for us as teenagers when it happened. So I would imagine that the people in my school had a much different reaction, I think, probably than teenagers elsewhere. It was a very somber, very serious thing for us. It wasn't as distant to us as it was to some other people. So I think probably I didn't have that experience because our connection to that event was very visceral in the area where I grew up. I don't want anyone to think that I was like exactly near where the plane, I believe it was in Somerset. I wasn't exactly near where the plane went down in Somerset, but I did grow up in central Pennsylvania, which wasn't all that far away, and I did know people who had family there. So it was a very, geographically, compared to most people, we were quite close to those events. And I had been to New York several times by the time that event took place as well. Not specifically to the Twin Towers. I had been to Broadway, mostly. But I was, and Met Stadium, but I was familiar with that area. More so, I think, than most teenagers at that time period. I'm genuinely sorry for that. Memory escaped how bad it was, and I wasn't making light. Peter, I just want to reassure you, I don't think you were making light at all. It just seemed to me like I mentioned wingdings. You remembered an event from your past. It led to other memories. That is how memory works. That is how brains work. That is natural. I think that we are far enough distant from that event period that we can have mature conversations about it. It's a shame that the kids in your school reacted that way. I can see why it was banned. I can see why people would get in trouble for that. But it's interesting because we had a different experience with it, right? I think we had the disconnect because we were an ocean away. Exactly. I would say, this is, again, another pretty heavy topic, but some of you may remember several years ago there was an incident in London where somebody drove into a school group, and several people who were on a school trip were killed during the incident. And I believe we've talked about this before. Ghost Pepper was in London that day. I woke up to a text message from him saying that he was fine, and an email from the school tour group saying your school tour people are okay. And when I asked Ghost Pepper via text where he was when that incident took place, he was like, oh yeah, we were on the other side of the city doing this. It was fine. We were nowhere near it. When he got home, he informed me that he was in Trafalgar Square at the time that it happened, less than a mile from where it took place. Less than a mile. He did not tell me that until he was able to be physically in my presence. Because he knew that even though I had talked to him and knew he was fine, I would lose my shit if he was far away and I knew he was that close to where it happened. Because I think he originally told me at the time that they were like in Westminster or something, or I have them reversed, but he was very, very close. I Googled it afterwards. I believe it was like 0.5, 0.3. He was not very far away. The tour guide basically grabbed them and took them into an art museum and was like, we're doing this now. Like, it wasn't on the plan. They just walked up to the door. They grabbed everybody in the tour group. They walked up to the door. They went inside. They talked to the people, the curators there. And they were like, we're spending the next hour in here. So yeah, I imagine that people on this side of the pond mostly didn't think about that incident as much as people in Britain did, because it was, you know, it was in your backyard. But I had a very visceral experience, again, because someone I cared about was very, very close to that event. And I can laugh about it now in not a funny way, in a relieved way. I can be like, oh yeah, haha, my husband was less than a mile away from that when it happened. Not that I make light of what happened, because it was a horrible tragedy and it was school children and that should never happen. But I can have relief about it now. But oh man, when he told me that, even when he was home, there was a piece of me that was very clingy for the next couple days. Because it was rough. I'm gonna take that break now. I know I paused the timer to go on break and just never took it. But, you know, memory is memory. We get good ones, we get bad ones. I am very relieved that in all of these disasters I have never lost anyone close to me, but I know that many, many people did, especially on 9/11. And so I think remembering it and talking about it are important things. You know, we have enough distance from those events to have mature conversations about it. And that was something that happened in your school around that time, and it makes me sad, but it's part of the collective memory of that event. A few years ago, someone tried to drive a Jeep into the front of Glasgow Airport and exploded a bunch of gas cans. It didn't happen, it didn't explode, but an airport worker called John fought one of the terrorists and kicked him so hard in the ding-dong that John tore ligaments in his foot. Nobody was hurt or harmed except the terrorists. Wow! Good on John! Heck yeah. I hope they gave him a medal for that. I will be right back. We will continue this wild ride and find out if it will end today or go on for another week. I'm back! Come to Glasgow, we'll sit about ye, which means if you attempt these shenanigans in our city, we shall not take kindly to it. I love to hear your Scottish translation, Skeeter. It makes me so happy. Thank you, Blur. I'm going to unleash our timer. And I think we're gonna hang out. The ape is so cute. I think we're gonna hang out with him a little bit more. Let's do some chopping. Let's do some shopping. Thank you. Thank you for the welcomes. Oh my goodness. I'm taking a sneaky peek at some patterns on Etsy. See if anything cute pops up. All right, it's time. It's almost time for a hot dog cop. The restless night of sleep just hit me like a brick. Weren't you tired yesterday too, Blur? You gotta get a good night of sleep at some point. Hopefully this weekend. Hopefully this weekend will be good for that. Half hot dog, half cob, all delicious. If a hot dog cop eats a hot dog, is it cannibalism? It depends on if it's a suit or not. I understand, Blur. I totally understand. I just hope that you're able to get some rest, because you gotta get energy at some point. That's what my heart says about you now. Half hot dog, half cop, all delicious. We did establish that this gentleman right here was Joe. Oh yeah, Peter, I didn't get to take a picture of it yet, but the boy that was you in the puzzle, he proposed to his sweetheart in the final version of the puzzle. What's everyone's favorite oatmeal scent? Not flavor? Do you mean like oatmeal lotion or oatmeal that you eat? I like how I was like, gave not a yes or no question, and Joe was like, nah. You eat. I don't eat oatmeal now, but I did when I was younger. I actually have a really nice oatmeal lotion that I put on my cheeks every day. It's oatmeal and shea butter. It doesn't have a scent, but it's very nice. I guess my favorite scent would be maple. Maple syrup. It is good for your skin. Okay, hot dog cop is arriving. Instructions unclear. I'm now eating my evening meal in a boat. I mean, that sounds nice. Is your boat made out of cheese? It's made of cheese flavored popcorn. That boat's not gonna last very long, Peter. You gotta get to shore. It is gonna dissolve. thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate the heck out of you. 7 months. Heck yeah. Peter, we all want you to survive because you're into Clurb, and everyone into Clurb is fam. It would be a delicious way to drown, though. Right, how you doing? Okay. We've done Hot Dog Cop, we've done the Fleshy Tongue, now we have to do the Bamboo Forest and the Butthole Aliens. So I do think we're gonna get done today. I definitely think we're gonna get done today. We're at 2,768. I think I can do this in another 1,000 words. I do think I can do this, or slightly under. Mystery Mochi, hello. What a time to enter this crazy, crazy arena. I hope you're doing well. Octoberly, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. I think Peter's really gonna like this part. It's creeping me out a little bit to write it. Your keyboard sounds are amazing! Thank you! I do have a lovely mechanical keyboard and I do love it to bits. Octoberly, how are you? I hope it's okay to call you Octoberly. What is up? Are you a writer? Please feel free to share with us. We've done a very, very small scene involving the arrival of the butthole aliens, and now we have the final scene to compose. Love mechanical keyboards, and yes, writer and hopelessly addicted to Spirit City. Heck yeah, welcome in! What type of stuff do you write, Octoberly? Feel free to share. Don't have to, no pressure, but feel free to share. I'm currently working on a story that was suggested by my Twitch chat. So of course, butthole aliens were one of the subjects that they chose. So here we are. This chapter's gonna be slightly longer than the first one, but I think we can bring it to a satisfying conclusion. We basically have to have our main character get, a reward of a kiss from the butthole aliens in all 5 of their tongues, and then celebratory pancakes. Community vibes immaculate. Thank you. Appreciate. Basically, last year I had to replace my computer because my hard drives kept dying. Instead of feeding the beast, I bought a new boy. He's over here. His name is Langdale, and he is Rainbow. He's a sweetie. But I did a fundraiser to raise money for this boy over here. And one of the rewards that was unlocked by our lovely community was that I would write a story of their design. So we had suggestions come in on the Discord and on the stream from a bunch of our community members. And we have turned it into a very interesting story about drag queens drag racing, a robot with a flesh tongue, a hot dog cop who no one is sure whether he is made of hot dog or just dressed like one. And now we are on to, I think, the fan favorite, which is going to be the butthole aliens. There's also a creepy child named Thursday. It's great. I'm supposed to be working, but I literally can't work on anything in my queue until I talk to my boss, and she hasn't had 5 minutes between meetings all day, so I might be reading. I mean, fair, Sardonisms. You gotta do something with that time. I write fantasy! Heck yeah! Young adult for my daughter, who is a fairy tale happy ending kind of girl, and more new adult fantasy romance for my taste. Heck yeah! I also write sci-fi and fantasy, not so much young adult, but sci-fi fantasy, anything that strikes my fancy, really. I have a space opera out, I have some magical girls in space, and I have the project that I am working on regularly when I'm not writing about butthole aliens, is a high fantasy that takes place in a modern day world. So I guess sort of fantasy contemporary fantasy. And that grumpy little elf child down there in the corner is the main character in that. His name is Domerin. We got up hydrate, and we got one from Blur that I missed as well, so we're gonna do 2. 1. 2 Sardonisms. I would never tell on you. It's lovely to have you here anytime we can have you. So I would never tattle. The child's name is Thursday. Yeah, I was like, there were several drag names suggested, but I didn't have enough for all of the characters, and I just thought it would be super funny to make the creepy child be Thursday. Every time you say all 5 of their tongues, I get a weird chill, like you said something unholy, and we're all heading to the 7th circle. Peter, you were the one who suggested the 5 tongues. I have to point out. So if we've entered unholy territory, you have led us there. I write all the stuff, just almost never finish any of it. Sardonisms, the day is coming. You're gonna finish something. I believe in you. The beehole aliens are my favorite. I mean, they are your creation, Peter. You did let me borrow them for this. Thursday made me laugh pretty hard, I won't lie. Yes! It's having the desired effect. I like to throw little references in, little Easter egg references in my work, so that was a purely self-indulgent, and I'm glad that other people are enjoying it. Weekday names are so good. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. It is Wednesday. It's a prime Wednesday today. But the child is not Wednesday. I have like a tiny handful of first drafts with the words "the end," and then a whole ass mountain range of unfinished garbage. Sardonisms, I can relate. It took me many years to learn how to finish things consistently, and now I keep myself chugging on the hamster wheel so that I have no choice but to keep finishing things. And so it goes, and so it goes. I also have a whole ass. Most of us do, I think. Most of us do most days, I think. So yeah. Heck yeah. Octoberly, if you have any questions about any of my writing specifically, you can hit the exclamation mark books command to get to my Amazon store, or the exclamation newsletter to get to my website. Or you can just ask me about any of the book covers that you see in or series that you see in the About section, and I will happily try to explain the weird things that have come out of my brain. The weird / hopefully wonderful things that have come out of my brain. Yes! I keep forgetting to remind everybody. I think most of you were here yesterday, but for anyone who wasn't, if you pop over to this link, right now, I meant to pin this at the beginning of stream and I forgot. Oopsies. If you pop over to that link right now, you can grab The Light of Eternity absolutely free. The digital version is free today and tomorrow. You can still grab that. We talked about it yesterday. That is the beginning of my Magical Girls in Space series. That is sort of space opera, sort of sword and sorcery in space. You can check that out. You can also get the second 2 books, so books 2 and 3, Soul of the Earth and Secrets of the Past, for 99 cents each. So if you're interested in Magical Girls in Space, mythological mashup, all that good stuff, you can grab basically the first 3 books for $2. The entire series is finished. It is out. You can grab it. You can read the whole thing. It's all on Kindle Unlimited, and I do get paid if you read it on there. So you can check all that out if that sounds like your jam. That is, again, today and tomorrow. That sale, it will end midnight PST tomorrow. So if you're interested in that, be sure to grab it before it expires. It kicked me into ads because I clicked the link and I had to come back and it counted me as just now joining. No, Sardonisms, I'm so sorry. I do have my ads turned as far down as I can, but you will unfortunately get pre-rolls when you come in. If there's anything you want me to repeat, let me know, Sardonisms. Although I feel like, I guess you weren't here yesterday. I basically just did the spiel about Eternity's Empire, but you can get the first 3 books essentially for $2. The first one's free, the second 2 are 99 cents today and tomorrow. It was the killer pre-roll? Wait, what? The killer? I have been reading your panels below. Amazing, you have so many completed works. Thank you! I have been self-publishing since 2014. I have the production aspect down, not so much the sales aspect. Still trying to learn how to sell my stuff, but I do have a tried and true method for creation. So I guess I'm halfway there? Question mark. Snagged book 1. It was the only straight romance I picked up last time. Last time equals yesterday. Actually, The Light of Eternity is lesbian romance. Just so you know, it is. It should be in that category. It might not show up in that category on Amazon, as I think it's mostly showing up in Galactic Empire and Space Opera right now. But it is a sapphic romance. The main romance in The Light of Eternity is between 2 ladies. Just so we all know. I don't remember. I don't remember what tags I put it under, but I think I put it under LGBTQ main characters, because they only rotate through certain things that you can tag on it each time. But it is a sapphic romance, so minor spoiler, I guess, to tell you that the romance is between 2 ladies. I think it's kind of obvious from the description of the book who's the main romance, but you know. Megan is the best. This is true in science. Peter, you're so sweet. As in the pre-roll is killer. Yes. Yeah, pre-rolls. In order, I was kind of talking to my husband about this because he also streams. In order to kill pre-rolls, you have to run 3 minutes of ads per hour. And I guess I could do that on my breaks, but it just seems overkill to run 3 minutes of ads every hour to the size of my audience just to kill pre-rolls. So you should only get pre-rolls in my channel. I basically have ads as disabled as possible. If you subscribe, you won't get any pre-rolls, but I can't get rid of pre-rolls without running an inordinate number of ads. It just doesn't seem it just doesn't seem worth it to me to spam you guys with that much ads to get rid of 30-second pre-rolls. You work so hard, you're always hustling. Thank you. The kids are asleep. I try. I do try. I usually have a schedule of things that I want to get through for the year, and it is set up so that I am pretty full on... Every day is pretty much accounted for aside from scheduled vacations. I love writing. I love creating. I enjoy the hell out of it, and I feel like I found a way to do it that doesn't kill my enjoyment of it, which is very, very important as well. Doing things like what we're doing today, where I'm just writing some fun little thing that was suggested mostly by you guys, and it's just very self-indulgent and silly and fun. That's one of the ways that I keep myself fresh to keep on my production schedule. I have time set aside for fun little things. Bruce, hello, my friend. How are you? I have fun time set aside in my production schedule for that very reason, to keep me fresh, to keep me from feeling like I'm bogged down by my projects. I grabbed the first 3, and I'm sharing the info with a Sapphic author friend. Thank you so much, Octoberly. I appreciate the heck out of that. That is amazing. I mean, I know you've just come into my stream today, so I really appreciate that you're already sharing out my work. That means so, so much to me. I will say most of my works do have some form of LGBTQA+ character in them. It's not always a romance. I also have some non-binary characters, and they're also not always as prominent. Like Dreamers Do Lie does feature more of a straight romance than many of my other works. But I believe very firmly in having diverse characters in my work. I go out of my way to make sure that there is no default person in any of my work. I try to make sure that I have a wide and diverse group of people, because we live in a wide and diverse world. And I believe very firmly that people in the LGBTQA+ community deserve to have stories that reflect them. This is important, so I'm going to pause the timer. That reflect them and that they can identify with and connect to, because so many stories have failed the LGBTQA+ community throughout history. I could have a whole dissertation about this, and I don't want to be one of those people. I want to be one of the people who gives that community the stories. Bardow's here. Who gives them the stories that they can enjoy and be happy with, and because everybody deserves to have a story like that. Arvalia Chronicles has both 2 very prominent, a very prominent male-male couple. One of them is actually pansexual, so I shouldn't say they're both gay. And it also has a polyamory relationship that gets featured pretty heavily. And I don't want to say too much because it might spoil it, but there are some other queer characters in that series as well. Eternity's Empire is a sapphic romance, and did I cover all of them? Also, there are LGBTQ+ characters in the Celestial Serenade as well. It features both a prominent gay couple and a prominent lesbian couple at different points in the timeline. I think Everyone's Child is one of the few series I've written where there's actually a straight couple as the featured relationship. But lots of non-binary characters in that series as well. So, sorry that turned into a bit of a spiel. But I talk about this a lot, especially with my beta readers. I do feel that it's very important as media creators to be aware of the diversity in our work, because we should be reflecting that aspect of the real world. And I do genuinely believe that everyone deserves to see themselves reflected in the story, to be able to connect to a heroic figure. And I feel like I would be shirking my responsibility as a creator if I didn't acknowledge that with my work. So hopefully whatever you're looking for, you can find it somewhere in one of my stories. Taryn, hello! It's been chaotic. Chaotic about sums it up. We're almost done. We're at the part where our main character is gonna get the kiss from the butthole aliens with all 5 tongues. And then there's gonna be pancakes. Hello, my gorgeous friend. I'm mostly lurking because work, but I love you so much, and I'm super proud of you. Bart, I'm super proud of you. I know you're working your butt off between school and work, and I hope you're taking care of yourself in there somewhere as well. And I'm just happy to see you, even if you gotta lurk. There are so many, so I literally just scrolled looking for the queer character tag and grabbed the stuff that was not pure spice. Fair. There are these promos, like the one that was running yesterday, they're quite large. And I think they have the tags there specifically for that purpose. If it didn't have the queer characters tag, that was my bad, because it definitely should have. Stares at money and shakes fist. I mean, I said this yesterday too, Sardonisms, but I do put the first books in my series on sale with fair regularity. So if there's something you want to check out, hopefully it'll go on sale someday in the future. Someday Megan will do the weekly authors podcast, and I cannot wait to produce that. I mean, when you start producing it? When you start producing it, I'll start also doing it, I think. Just got home from work, got wined and dined by a vendor to start my day. Ooh, Bruce, that sounds like a fabulous day. Lately I've been reading so much Danmei and Boy Love. Many books have just lost my attention on the grounds of not being gay enough, said tongue-in-cheek. Listen, Wolf talks about this a lot on his streams, where he really has come to appreciate media where it's the norm to have queer characters instead of, you know, a surprise. And I think it should be, it's 2025, it should be normal to encounter a diverse cast of characters. And I don't even feel like I go out of my way to have diverse characters. I feel like it flows very naturally for me. Even when I'm thinking about my NPCs, I try to think, oh, you know, maybe there's a non-binary guard today that they're talking to, or, you know, the couple that they've encountered on the train is 2 ladies or 2 dudes, or, you know, to me it just feels so natural to do that kind of stuff and to have that kind of stuff in my work. It doesn't even really feel hard or complicated. And I think it's fair to look for that in a book, to want to know that an author has taken the time to acknowledge the diversity of, you know, I also try to have a diverse group of races represented in my work, even though most of my work doesn't take place on Earth. You know, I still try to, if you took a picture, if you took a photograph of the people in my work, I still try to make sure that there's a diverse range of skin colors represented as well, because that's part of my responsibility as a creator, is to reflect the world that we live in. PC now, on PC now for streak safety. Heck yeah, right. I don't know how the streaks work with the mobile stuff. The world is failing a lot of those people right now. Kids are asleep. That is very true. And I don't want to be part of that. I definitely want to be holding up the pillars as much as I can. Most of my characters are part of the LGBTQ plus community, since I'm part of it myself. Heck yeah. I'm going to take a break here in a minute. I'm just trying to catch up on chat. All characters that I love are queer and in love with me, in my head at least. Fair, Bard. I don't mean this to sound insensitive or insulting, but if I'm doing an interview and I can't find in a press pack or on social media their specific gender identity, I will always ask how they identify prior to starting the interview. That's a great idea, because we should never make assumptions about that sort of thing. I myself am bigender and pansexual and demi-romantic, while my partner is a trans man who is bisexual. Hell yeah! I am demi myself. Shout out, solidarity. Every single person who I've asked and had confirm it has been like, thank you for asking. But to me, incoming as but the host of a show, it's so important to me to get names and pronouns correct. 100%! 100%. And anyone who gets annoyed by being asked that question is frankly an idiot. Got alert, getting lots of my own work done, and I need to stay focused, but I wanted to pop in and let y'all know I met with a family therapist today who's going to be there with me when I tell my father that we will no longer have a relationship. Taryn, I'm so proud of you. I know this is a huge step and very hard. My heart has gone out to you every day since what you posted in the Discord last, and I just want you to know that we're here for you, we support you, and I really hope it goes well. You deserve to not live with that stress. I love that and totally agree. I will say I always want to write, but I'm always so nervous about failing in my representation of experiences that are not my own despite a diverse friend group. Capturing the human lens while also accurately representing unique challenges in a way that doesn't cause harm is not something I take lightly, but also try not to shy away from. And you know what, Octoberly, this is such a good point, and I think you can tell when someone's putting in effort. I genuinely think you can tell the difference between someone who just doesn't give a fuck or someone who is just trying to hit a quota and someone who's genuinely trying. And I think if you have friends in that community and you're getting some beta eyes on your stuff and you're taking their advice and taking seriously when they talk to you about representation in media and all that kind of stuff, I think people can tell. I think people can tell when you're genuine about it. And if you make a mistake and you're genuine about your attempts to try, I think that they will know that and they'll say, hey, in the future, here's some feedback about this and thank you for trying, versus, you know, I don't think someone's gonna come at you for genuinely trying. I think that you can tell when someone is just kind of being a jerk about it and just kind of throwing it in for a quota and not really caring about the community or the community's concerns. And for me, that's always the big thing is if I try, I'd rather try and get it wrong and have somebody help me figure it out than not try at all. But it is scary. It can be scary because you want to do justice to those people's experiences, even if they're not your experiences. A lot of people say no offense but and then say some heinous shit, but Peter will always say no offense but and follow it with the sweetest, most wholesome thing. I know, Peter's such a sweet boy and he never believes us when we tell him. Non-binary femme, single, target sexuality. I'm ace and arrow except for my boyfriend, and if I never met him, I'd be single and mostly fine with it. Heck yeah, sardonisms. I just don't want to upset anyone, like I'm very sassy, but sass in a good and just humor. But Peter, I think people can tell that about you. I think people can tell that you're genuine, and that even though you're sassy and cracking the jokes, that you genuinely care about people and want the best for them. And honestly, that's why we love you. I don't think I've ever considered that genuinely caring probably is something that comes across, but now that you mention it, I think I can see that when I reflect on things. Genuinely. I mean, I have chewed my fingernails over so many things that I've written, and then I send them out to people, and the feedback I get back is not, like, the problem areas are never what I expect them to be. And I do have a beta reader that is in, I guess I can just say it because it's not, it's not a secret. My good friend It's Woof is one of my top beta readers, and he is a member of the LGBTQ+ community and very open about it. And he lets me know when I've done something that is a faux pas or that he thinks I should take another look at. We have conversations about how certain things are best expressed. And you know, we go back over certain things 2 or 3 times until we feel like we've gotten it into the right spot. And I appreciate that because I know that he will always genuinely tell me if he thinks I've made a misstep. And he also knows that I'm coming from a good place and want to make that story the best it can possibly be. And I genuinely think if you're interacting with someone in the community, they can tell when you're trying. They can tell when they're just a statistic to you. And I think that's the major difference between people who succeed at telling diverse stories and people who write something cringe. Because if you don't care if it's just a statistic, then you're not going to take the time. And if you do care, you're going to be open to feedback and you're going to be genuine. And I think people engage with that. I genuinely think people engage with that. The best way to describe my gender and sexuality is that I'm a blob full of feelings and some of them are sexy. Bard, we love you, and you are such a treasure to this community. The mostly is because the people around me would mostly not be ace or arrow and they'd pair off and I'd feel left behind. I think it's important for people to not feel like they have to pair off. If you're happy, I mean, I know you said that you're happily paired and that's great, but if you're happy being alone, if you're happy flying solo, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being confident in who you are and being happy and staying that way. You don't need a partner. There's no rule that says you have to have a partner to be complete. And in fact, you should be a complete person without your partner, which is a whole other conversation. If I may throw a thought into the fam, I personally want to know about other genders and identities. I find it so fascinating to learn and understand, and I want to learn and understand because I feel that's how we grow as people, and we all need to understand and learn more about the world and each other. Peter, that nails exactly why I write the sort of things that I write, because by writing about relationships that are different from mine and people that are different from me, I learn about those people, I learn about their experiences, I connect with new people in new communities, I open my mind to perspectives and viewpoints that didn't really occur to me on my own before I started trying to put myself in someone else's shoes. And all of those things have made me not just a better writer, but a better person. And I feel like when somebody comes to me with their experience, my instant reaction now, because of having done all these things and written all these stories, is to open myself to what they're trying to tell me and to try to put aside my biases and to see the world from their perspective. And when we can do that, when we can empathize with each other and sympathize with each other, it makes the world a better place. Because instead of jumping to snap judgments or trying to tell people how to live their life, we're connecting with other experiences and we're supporting people and we're giving them the tools and opportunities they need to feel happy and safe and secure. And they will in turn come back to us and give us that same boost of confidence when we need to feel happy and safe and secure. So I genuinely feel that my experience as a writer, reaching out to perspectives that aren't mine, trying to put myself into the thought process of people with totally different perspectives than I have, has genuinely made me a better person, because I see the world much, much differently than I did 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I definitely have unlearned a lot of social garbage that was pumped into my head as a teenager, and I don't know if I would have gotten there without reading and writing. So this was a very long tangent, but a very important one, and I'm just so happy that y'all came on this journey with me, because this is why I write. These are all the reasons why I tell stories and why I feel like it's important to tell diverse stories, is because we're reaching out across the gaps between people and closing them, and that makes the world a better place. That's why stories need to exist, especially in times like these, because as the kids are asleep pointed out, parts of our community are being failed on a large scale, and they need to know that we still have their back. Don't ask me about gender. I was telling people I used all pronouns for several years before I realized I was non-binary. I mean, fair, Bard. Non-binary is something I don't understand at all, but yes, please tell me all of the things so I can learn. Exactly. For me, I always just take what people tell me at face value, essentially. If someone says, this is the pronoun that I identify most strongly with, okay. And if you change your mind about what pronoun you want me to use later, just let me know. I'm chill. I'm cool with it. I just want people to be happy and feel safe interacting with me. To me, that's the most important thing. I'm gonna take that long-awaited break, and when I get back, we're actually gonna change the timer because I don't think I need 30 minutes to write this scene. We're gonna change the timer to 20 minutes, and we're gonna knock out the end of this scene, and then we will write on. So I will be right back. is the strangest thing you've researched that has you like, oh, if someone saw my search history, they would have questions? One of the things I know as a fantasy writer, because of sort of researching how the creation of various fantasy creatures could potentially work, is that, I guess I should make sure Octoberly is here. I'll wait until I see Octoberly in the chat to know that I can say it and they'll hear it. You're here! Alright. I know that different species of snakes don't accidentally mate with each other because boy snakes have a certain shaped penis and girl snakes have a matching shape vagina, and if snakes that don't have the same shape try to mate, they just don't fit, and that's how they don't accidentally crossbreed. That's how snake sex works, and I know that as a fantasy writer. And it's one of my favorite weird facts when people are like, what's something you know about as a writer that you wouldn't have known about otherwise that's questionable? I know about snake reproduction. And it was something that I did at one point in the past Google. Very carefully. I go by she, him, but mostly go by she, her. But to be honest, I don't really care what people call me. I'm just chill. Heck yeah, Blur. Well, thanks for telling us that. Same as Megan, I accept that I'm what I'm given, even when I don't understand. How else will they know that I'm safe and my questions come from a genuine place of trying to increase my knowledge? And again, I think people can understand when you're like, oh, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about your experience, versus looking at them like they've grown a second head, right? I had a sense of who I was and I knew what non-binary meant as it applied to other people, but I didn't put two and two together until it just hit me one day. Most people that I've spoken to have said that, like, their experience of learning about their gender identity is always a slow process. So I don't think you're alone in that, Bard. But I also think the more people talk about it, the more we give them the resources to explore their own feelings, right? My bestie spouse is non-binary, but this relationship is fairly new, so I don't want to pummel them with all my queries. Fair. Let them explain at their own pace, for sure. Ocean parasites. What do you know about ocean parasites? Kids are asleep. I'm so curious. I went by gender fluid for the longest time until I talked with an old friend of mine. She was like, have you heard of bigender? And I was like, no. I actually haven't heard of bigender before either, but it makes hearing you say it, it makes perfect sense. Duck sex is also a lot. I'm not as familiar with duck sex, but I now might need to look into that. I appreciate your commitment to research. I mean, if you're creating a fantasy race, you need to know how they function, right? So, like, if centaurs or naga are things that exist in the world, you kind of need to know how and why they exist, and how they are a viable species. So, I care about details like that. I probably don't need to, but I do. I should let this go, because I'm actually going to skip the next timer anyway. I'm learning against my will again. Always learning on here. I went on a date with a woman who told me the exact same thing, and that's why she couldn't be in a relationship with me. Peter. I call those unfun fun facts, and I talk about them all the time. I'm glad to add one to your repertoire, Octoberly. I love weird, fascinating conversations, like, how would a vampire's internal body actually function? And there are so many vampire romances. How does it actually make sense for them to have sex when technically they don't, like, have functioning organs? I think about weird shit like that, so I love having these kinds of conversations. Bigender is basically that you identify as two genders. It makes sense. I also used to think I was bi because that was the only term I knew outside of straight and gay, but now I guess the label that fits best is like pan-romantic or demisexual. Yeah, I've actually asked people to explain to me what the difference between bisexual and pansexual is, because there's apparently actually a lot of nuance to that, which I didn't know until someone explained it to me. This may sound weird, but I've never written it. I don't really write sex scenes, but I do know every single tiny detail of my character's sex lives. You always know more than you write down. The least unpleasant sea parasite fact that I can think of is there are some whale tapeworms that grow to 90 feet long. Damn! That makes sense, but is also terrifying. Alright, I am going to start the new timer. I'm going to go down to just 20 minutes here. So in 20 minutes, this will be the final sprint. In 20 minutes, we will wrap up this scene and we will wrap up the stream with the raid. You guys can continue to have this conversation as long as you want. I've got to go into focus mode and get the work done. But I just appreciate y'all being so open and so honest and so willing to have these conversations because it's important. And it's how, it's like Taryn said, it's how we let people know that they're safe with us and that they can be their full selves and not have to worry about any consequences. And I always, always, always want this to be a safe space. All right, let's get that timer going. You spell occasional so wrong that word doesn't recognize it. Bard, you deserve some time to actively not focus. I gotta save, because I'm never gonna write a description like that again. Bard, thank you so much for dropping by and participating in the conversation. We love the heck out of you, and we hope you have a good day. cake portion of the story. Oh my gosh, it's almost 4,000 words. My goodness. The end. This is by far the weirdest thing I've ever written. It's even weirder than the Werefrog vampire short, which also ended up being 2 parts. We're at 4,054 words, and if we add to that the 3,279 from last time, we're basically at, like, I don't know, 7,300. So there you go, 7,300 words of story, suggested by you guys. And I think I fit everything in. I don't think oh wait! I forgot the fluffy cheetah. Hang on, we gotta go back. We gotta go back and add a paragraph. We gotta go back. Finished. All right, we've got the cheetah noping out. So up to 4,096 words. All right, let's check. Did that fluffy cheetah nopes out? Hot dog cop. Supposed to make them all kiss and make up. Okay. Okay. All right. It's done. It's finished. All the things got in there. There's even a brief arrival of the butthole aliens. What a thing to enter to. Uncle Tobin, it's nice to see you. We are sadly about to wrap up. It is 2 p.m. here in my time zone, which means lunchtime. I'm actually technically overtime. But we got involved in a delightful conversation that I felt we should finish, and I didn't want to cut it off. It's nice to see you, though. I hope you're doing well. What happens next? When can we get our grubby but sexy hands on this piece? It is... What manner of lunches are we having today? Probably tuna, I'm guessing. Tuna and something. Possibly a salad, but I am running out of salad stuff, so who knows. When can you get your hands on this? It will go up on my blog. So I'm always about, probably about 7 or so weeks ahead, possibly more. I try to stay about 10 weeks ahead on prompts, but basically, the prompt novel is being published currently on my blog. As soon as the prompt novel is finished, this will be the next thing that gets posted on my blog. So at my website there, megancutler.net, every other Monday I post free shorts. I will, of course, post on the Discord. I post links every week on the Discord to whatever gets posted on my blog. So you will be able to read this for free on my website as soon as it gets published. And of course, I put the VODs on YouTube as well, so you'll get to relive this whole crazy ride if you really would like to. So there you go. It will be available for free. Everybody will be able to read it. And I will post in the Discord when that happens. Just one more time, I'm gonna drop the link to Light of Eternity. If anybody would like to check that out, it is free today and tomorrow, and the second 2 books in that series, Soul of the Earth and Secrets of the Past, are for just 99 cents until midnight on Thursday, so check that out. You know, rock bands spend years upon years perfecting and tweaking and making the perfect song, but then they take 10 minutes to write a filler track, and that's what they become known for. I'm terribly afraid this will be that. You know what, Peter? Whatever. If it gets attention to my other work, I'll take it. I'm not gonna bat an eye at it. Listen, it is what it is. I wrote it, and I'm gonna take responsibility for that. Who is around? Who is writing? What is happening? Who be doing things? Oh, Common Flower Girl is on, although she is not arting today. But we might drop by. She's been working quite a lot. And we haven't gotten to raid her because I haven't seen her streaming. Oh, it's a streamiversary! Well, we definitely gotta raid Common Flower Girl for a streamiversary. Let's do that. So usually, Common Flower Girl does craft streams, cross-stitch beading, all that kind of stuff. It looks like today she's playing some Legend of Zelda for... Is it Legend of Zelda? Ocarina of Time for her streamiversary. So let's go say hey, give her some support, even if you're going to head off to another productivity stream, because I know many of you are here for the productivity. Check her out. She's totally worth hanging out with, and also very chill when she does her craft streams. Megan goes to book signings and people yell, "Tell us about Hot Dog Cop." Did you say you use something for cross-stitch patterns? I am using Excel to make my cross-stitch pattern. It is my first time making one, but I am using Excel and Wingdings. If you have more questions about it, you can toss me a message in Discord, although I don't have a lot to say about it because it is my first time and I don't even know if I'm doing a good job, but I'll try. Pants down, what crimes are openly obscured or committed up here? You can have a whole conversation with Peter about that, Devin. Okay, so we're gonna go say hey to Common Flower Girl. I'm gonna go eat some food. Where you can find me for the rest of the week, I will be back here tomorrow again at 10:30 a.m. PST. I will be editing the Aravalia Chronicles. So there'll be a lot of intense staring and slightly less clicky clacking tomorrow, but we'll be doing that. And then Saturday night, we're back to our regular stream time. Me and Woof over on Woof's channel. We will be doing Cozy Chaos. I'll probably be playing more Tavern Talk. So head over there. I already have a hot take in the queue to just give you guys, so that should be fun. Next week is a little bit up in the air. I'm expecting to feel under the weather at least at the beginning of the week, so keep an eye on the Discord. There may or may not be a schedule. If the ick clears out early enough in the week, we might do Wednesday and Thursday stream. Otherwise, I'm not entirely sure if streams are going to make it into next week. We'll see. But keep an eye on the Discord. I'll let you know when I will be back. If we don't have any streams next week, we will definitely have streams the week after as per regular Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I just, sometimes the energy gets low and I just am not able to get the work done and hang out at the same time, unfortunately. Devin, thank you so much for the follow. Joe, what's up? I hate to leave, but I need to eat some food. We'll be back tomorrow, though. Did Mr. Pepper enjoy his birthday? He very much did. He very much enjoyed it. He enjoyed the restaurant that we went to. He enjoyed streaming with you guys. And he enjoyed the watch party. Food is overrated. We've encountered an unexpected error when creating the raid. What unexpected error? There, it went that time. It was like, we've encountered an unexpected error while creating the raid. Food is overrated and half hours of toiling on stream is nothing. Listen, I'm trying to be healthy and model healthy behavior. It's very weird. I've never seen it do that when I started a raid before. I've been left behind for my own raids, but I've never been told you can't do that right now. One more heads up about Common Flower Girl. She is not a fan of the swearing. I swear like a sailor, but she's not into it, so just keep the cussing down when you're in her chat. She'll let you know and everything. Yeah, even if you're planning to head over to another co-working stream, definitely check her out because she's much better at crafts than I am on stream, and her craft streams are always super chill. I will see you all again tomorrow and maybe Saturday, and if not then very soon. I appreciate you all so much for hanging out. Thank you to the Writers Tribe for the raid today. You guys are amazing. Thank you for the conversations. Thank you for the support. It means the world to me. Please take care of yourselves. Remember to eat, to sleep, to drink, to move around. Wishing you all the best productivity, and I'll see you again soon.
A new way to go will be open.